All right, hello there. This is Trevina Jefferson, the Gift Mission Initiative of Trepson Operations and HR Consulting. And today I'm with Faith Johnson at her beautiful salon. Tell us the name of your salon.
This is FJ Beauty Studios and Academy in the city of Virginia Beach, Virginia.
As you know, we tend to look for businesses that overflow with gifts and are able to serve the community. So purpose-driven businesses ran by leaders of integrity, and Faith is one of those people. So we want to learn more about you, Faith, and what drove you to open a beauty salon?
I've been doing hair all of my life, starting out with my baby dolls and working on my sister and just that little girl who has a gift of just wanting to beautify others and make people feel good inside and out. You don't know that as a child, but you start to realize this is what I love to do. So as I got older, I realized that truly my gifts will make room for me because people will pay me for this service. But the service always felt better than the payment. It always did. And me tapping into it and making it a career was just a blessing. But overall, the servant leader is what I strive to be and what I've always wanted to be without even knowing it.
Yeah. So just tell us about like the first year of opening, how that worked out.
The first year of opening was really scary because within my first year, I found myself in a pandemic. And you get a vision, or you feel like you have this blueprint that's heavenly, God-given vision. Mm-hmm. And I didn't see being shut down or called non-essential as a part of that plan. So when that happened, God sustained us. I dug deep and I said, hey, he who has begun a great work in me, he's faithful to continue to provide. And he did just that. So the first year was very...
How did you go about getting to those first students?
Some of my first students were actually the children, family members of the clients who I had already serviced. Mm. So you ask yourself, well, where are these students going to come from? Not being funded, not having the financial aid and things in place where people can pay that lump sum to come to school. These clients who had already been invested in me by getting their hair done and me providing that service over the years. When I start talking to them about my school, literally one of my clients, hey, I have a granddaughter who is going to be moving up here from Florida and she's into beauty and I'll sign her up for your school. I had another client who said, my daughter's interested in beauty and Faith. I believe in you. And I'm going to, allow my daughter to sign up. There was a friend of a friend. And it just happened like that. When I looked around my classroom on the first day, I had already made a connection with each of those girls' family members. And God let me know this stamp of approval was on that business then. It had already been from cultivated relationships that he had already blessed me with.
Mm-hmm. So it was just like it was kind of in order for you.
Your steps was ordered for sure. Steps were ordered for sure. Yeah.
So when you think about what really stands out about this salon, I know you mentioned there's some elements to what you teach them that may not be coming from some other salons. Let's talk to us a little bit about that.
The mentorship that I provide, I say, is preparation well beyond the state board. Anybody can take a test. Anybody can study to pass a test. But when it comes to sustaining a business, growing a business, sometimes there's personal things that can hinder you or stop you. My school is different. My classroom setting is different. My instructor model is different because I'm able to recognize some of those hindrances or roadblocks that can keep a person from becoming everything they need to become. Mm-hmm. So my curriculum does include, or my teaching method does include nurturing of them as a whole, as a person, outside of just wanting to be a beautician or a nail tech or a cosmetologist or a barber. What is it going to take for you to truly be successful and get out of your own way? I make sure that I include that in my teaching style. Sure.
Mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned service a couple of times. Are there elements of service that are also in your teaching philosophy?
When you talk about elements of service, can you break that down a little bit?
Like, right, because there's lots of different service. Yes. So I'm meaning like, are there elements of how they would serve their clients?
Absolutely. I talk to them about, beautifying that client, whether you're doing their nails, whether you're doing their hair, whether you're providing that facial, you want to make that person feel good from the inside out. So you want to make sure that you're in a great space. Energy is transferable, and first and foremost, you want to make sure that you're always positive. You're putting that client before their money. Being paid is a given, but treating them with respect, even when it comes down to the way that they book you. When they first reach out to you, how are you responding? How are you treating them from the first point of contact? So that part of service, having great customer service and letting that customer know or that client know that you care about them and not just what's in their pocket is what gives you the longevity with that customer. It's not always that you have to be personal with that client. Just truly care about that person that you're servicing. And that's what gives you longevity in the game, yeah.
What are some ways that your students have been able to kind of work together? What kind of environment have you created for them?
So that I create an environment that's not only safe, transparent. To teach a thing is one thing, but to learn a thing is another. And I make sure that I let them know that I'm still learning. So although they come in to be mentored by me and taught by me, I learn so much from them. And so my transparency is I don't know everything. I don't know everything about you. I don't know everything about me. But if we have a safe space and we're transparent with where we are in that moment or even where we've been and where we're trying to go, and we keep that positive, it's always an atmosphere that's conducive for real growth. And me having a level of transparency with my student and saying, hey, this is where I've been, this is where I am, this is where I'm trying to go, they trust me. And I don't breach that trust or break that trust with them. And so we're able to grow individually and collectively. So yeah, the atmosphere is totally conducive for growth. You're just real about, who you are as a person, first and foremost, and staying positive.
Absolutely. I mean, I think they see from you how to be a great beautician of service. Just the way, we're taught in the Bible. They also learn something else unintentionally, probably, but some things about getting out there, on your faith and building, a business for empowerment.
Absolutely.
Have some of them, they're also kind of, I guess, contractors in a way. They're coming into self-employment. How have you heard anything about what they feel on that? Like, do they feel more confident? Any stories from your students?
Absolutely. You are able to witness the student from day one, and then you do a performance evaluation, or you just monitor it head on, and you can see the growth. I have had graduates, even today, that told me where they are in life, how much more confident they are, and that makes me feel good as an instructor. But I give all the glory to God for what He's doing through me for them. They can also share that confidence or their experience of their journey here. So for sure, I have had students to come back and say, hey, I feel much better, or hey, I'm more confident in this or that, or hey, I still need this or that in this area. So I feel good about being a trusted, safe space, for them to continue to work.
Mentioning that, so for some schools, there might not be, I guess, some extra curriculum that you provide. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Why some people from other schools might come for more instruction, more
Absolutely.
support?
I have some students actually that are going to be starting within the next week that just graduated from another local school. However, they heard about our mentorship program, which is the OJT that we provide for 6 months after you graduate. So literally, they've gotten their completion certificate for training. They need to go and test. But not only do they not feel strong enough to pass the test or confident enough to pass the test, where do I go? What do I do at this point? I finished my 1,500 hours, but they still feel lost. And so having those students come to me and need what we provide here, which is the extra, what I call it, I don't have a language for it. Just what we have here to help them get to that next level is what they're coming for. So they're saying, hey, I finished at another school, but I need you in a mentorship to get me to break into the beauty industry confidently and pass my test.
So
And,
you're
be,
like
and be
a-
truly prepared for business.
So you're mentor for the exam as well as like a business mentor,
Absolutely.
business development.
Absolutely.
It helps them get out there so they're not just like
What now?
just trying to jump in.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I went through that when I finished beauty school. It was
Yeah.
like, okay, what do I do now? Although I was building a client, so I've always done hair, you really don't know what to do with that licensure sometimes. You're like, okay, so I go open up a shop. Do I go work in a booth rental? Do I go do commission? Like, there's a gap in that that choice for a lot of beauty school graduates. And there's even a term, beauty school dropout. You can look up the hashtag, and so many young men and women drop out of beauty school or training schools because they just don't have exactly what they need. And I think I've tapped into that. But I know I have. I've tapped into that.
Absolutely. I think because you're thinking about this, you know, in a full cycle,
Absolutely.
which is so needed. You see this, you know, even, you know, in HR. So maybe you got your certification or you just got out of school, but that just got you to one step.
Yeah.
Now getting the rest of the way, you still have mentorship, you know, with that.
Absolutely.
And so you're providing really a full service. I remember you spoke a little bit about like, this giant vision you had for them testing. I think it was this year. That was quite a story. Can you tell us a little bit about they going on to Florida?
Yeah.
And how that you know rolled out for you. You know, really trying to make it you know something for them.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can come to school every day. You can come into the shop. They can be mentored every day by the professionals here in the salon studios. But there was so much more that they needed. I'm always thinking of what more can I give? What more can I give? And taking them on a trip to Florida to premiere beauty show was one of the funnest experiences that we did. And it's one of those things I'm going to pick up for each group. So we got on the road, we went to Florida, but we made it a part of the training.
Yeah.
So business leisure. So we go there to go to a hair show, take extra classes, meet other professionals outside of our state. It's a whole beauty world out there. So they get to see that. They get to see all the brands, the flat irons that they use, the makeup that they use. All those vendors are there. The classes that they can take are there. We also get to relax by the pool. And so we get a nice vacation home. Everybody has their own room. And we learn meditation skills. We learn affirmations. We sit on the side of the pool with our books. And literally when they come back, because it's right before graduation, that's when they start preparing to test. So that trip is almost like a decompression for everything that you've learned and worked on while you're in school. And you go to Florida and you kind of prepare your mindset a little bit more for the test. So yeah, that's something that I've implemented into the program. We're going to continue it. This new group that just came in, they're going to go in May as well. And yeah, we go to have some fun, but we make sure that we prepare for that test while we're there. So yeah, that's something fun that we did as far as training, an additional tool to get them interested, get them hyped about school.
What was the highlight of that trip?
I would say the highlight of the trip was me driving. So not being funded, and the students were self-paced students, we had to figure out a way to keep the budget down.
Nice.
16-passenger Sprinter, and I was Miss Fizzle from the Magic School Bus. And we drove down there, but listening to the songs and singing with them, stopping to get snacks on the way, and just being able to talk and get to know them, you know, outside of our school setting.
Yeah.
And being in the comforts of a home with them.
Yeah.
And so all those things we had grown through and worked through in the classroom, I actually got to see what their personalities were like, you know, outside of school. So that was very interesting.
Yeah.
And it was like one big family reunion. I wouldn't trade it for anything. The experience was amazing to be in a setting like that with my students. And it worked out great. Of course, school rules were still in place. We still had waivers, all that type of stuff. The legalities were there.
Yeah.
And God definitely provided everything that we needed, kept us safe, kept us strong, and made sure the trip was a success. So I can't wait to do it again. I can't wait.
What do you see in the next 2-3 years? Any visions coming up, or what's next for you?
More schools.
Mm.
I'm going to run out of space.
Mm.
As we gear up towards funding, being able to accept veterans in, I know for a fact that this space won't contain what God is doing. I'm excited, and I'm going to speak that to them. I'm excited about more schools in the state of Virginia. I'm excited about more schools nationwide. FJ Beauty Studios and Academy will be still a non-mainstream school, but there will be more. This will be the school for schools. I'm excited about what he's doing through me, other instructors that he's bringing on board to really reshape the way that future beauty professionals are taught, keeping some of the morals and values that got us here, bringing some of the new, and I'm just being like almost like a hybrid for that up and coming beauty professional to really survive the beauty industry and keep that servant leadership spirit and making sure that they treat people right. All of that. I can barrel on and on, but I'm excited about new schools, more salon studios where they have that mentor, where the mentors can, where they can shadow. So I'm not just for the student, I'm for the professional too, who is already licensed.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to help them to get their own, whether it be their own shop or whether it be their own school. So I want to help the student. I want to help the professional to get to where they need to be too. So there's some professionals that desire their own brick and mortar. I want to help them too. Yeah. Some people want to own their own school. Some professionals want to own their own school. I want to help them too.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be
more.
It's going to be part of the cycle.
Absolutely.
But I think it's so important to, with our community to have mentors like you in the community that can help not just have, a facility and have, a business, but bringing others along with you on that journey. Absolutely. Well, that is what we have for today. Could you please tell us how people could contact you? They want to get more information.
Sure. I am at 4221 Pleasant Valley Road in the beautiful city of Virginia Beach, Virginia. But my phone number is 1-844-FJ Salon. I'm going to give out my cell, 757-343-3270. And my email.